Having covered the first three chapters of DAP 2020, which basically set the outline of the complete processes and procedures, and especially the major procurement categories of buy and make, innovation, and the three makes, make one, make two, make three. As well as in the last two sessions, we covered chapter 7, which lends itself to the potential of long-term capability building, that is strategic partnership and development of the complete ecosystem. Now we come to chapter 8, which also I consider as an important chapter, which actually shows the way ahead of getting out of the problem of the contract being given to the L1 bidder, which actually may not be able to provide the best product. This chapter lends itself to providing a possibility of going for a higher technical product rather than the lowest price product. There are problems, and the problems are put simply in a small sentence. That is the price indexing of technology. Price indexing of technology. In the course of my expositions, I will explain as to what I mean by it. It shall be in three sessions. In the session 1, we look at the part of the flow chart. It's a long flow chart, part of the flow chart, and subsequently get on to the next two sessions. Now, why was a chapter devoted to system products and ICT systems, information communication technology systems? Now, these systems, basically the software as well as the hardware in the system require intense obsolescence management and cybersecurity provisions. With the normal course of the procurement procedures, as we saw in the preceding chapters, such systems cannot be managed over a long period of time. And also, such systems, since they're technologically intensive, it may not be entirely correct to take the lowest bidder because that is not what exactly you want. You want modern day technology which changes at a very fast pace. Now, basically, this chapter includes system system products. And what are system products? These are the early warning equipment or the electronic warfare equipment, satellite-based communication systems, the command control communication intelligence network systems, intelligence gathering equipment, satellite imaging and mapping system, surveillance systems for MI and SI, that is military intelligence and signal intelligence. It also includes the information communication technology systems, which are primarily software oriented, intensive. AI solution, artificial intelligence, and so these solutions have a significant collective software content to more than 50% estimate value. That is the value of the complete project. It's got more than 50% of software content, these ICT systems. It also includes, since such systems require long-term maintenance of system and ICT projects through the AMC oblique the ATS. And however, it is only if taken, the MC and ATS is taken along with the acquisition projects. You cannot later on start looking at it. Obviously, it can be taken as a separate project, but not as an add-on to the complete project. The enhancement of the system by way of upgrades, since it is obsolescence sensitive, and or augmentation of feature capabilities. At a later stage, you may find that you require successive generations of the particular system, and you need to augment the capabilities that you initially thought was relevant, or more systems have come in. So augmentation of features and capabilities, or development of the next version of software. The software changes very fast, and the next version may be required to be included. Now I come on to the flow chart for the complete process of system and information communication technology projects. This flow chart is going to be primarily what I'll be devoting my complete sessions to. What you see on the left hand side is the complete flow, and you see a box in brown, the rest in yellow, and you on the right hand you see a box in brown. The box in brown on the right hand side basically is related to the box in brown on the left hand side, and we'll go along the complete thing giving the explanation of each one of the boxes. Now the first step in this is the preliminary planning. Now, the preliminary planning, as in the make procedures, is very intensive and requires a great deal of forethought to come to the system architecture that we require. Therefore, you have to engage with users to arrive at the optimum system architecture and software design. Without interacting with the users, it's not possible to do so. Now, what does it include? Includes the functional requirement and specifications that are required, the software system vulnerabilities and what are the mitigation measures that would be available. What is the architecture of the software? It should support continuous evaluation, enhancement of capability, adoption of new technologies over the life cycle, is flexible enough to absorb the technologies coming over the life cycle. Interoperability and interface with the legacy system. You can't change the entire system completely in the complete military. Therefore, the system that you have and are now including into complete network system should be interoperable, and it should be interfaced also with the older generation system, which are going to be there for some time. And the compliance with good design principles. The top measures, the top issues all relate to good design principles. It should be flexible, capable of absorbing new alterations. It should be compact, etc. Modular structure with built-in upgradability. It should be modular in nature, and that is the thing in the new generation equipment that are coming in. Now, the two terminologies in this, first is the minimum viable product. Now, the minimum viable product is actually the early version of the software, which is basically made out, which has just about working features to meet the functional requirement. And normally you carry out the test bed on a minimum viable product initially. Thereafter is the minimum viable capability release. After developing the software, you come to a stage where you consider it suitable to be delivered to the operational environment in an early time frame. That means the initial set of user needs are being met by the software. We come to the draft preliminary project report. Now, to make the draft preliminary project report, or the PPR, a multidisciplinary team is set up by the service headquarters. It comprises of the representatives of the user branch oblique the directorate concerned. External consultants are allowed to be taken from the industry oblique the academia, and the representative of the DRDO. However, if the system is being developed by the DRDO, the representative cannot be from the lab that is developing the system. Now, the draft PPR, without any sensitive information, can be shared with the industry during the expression of interest oblique the response for information process, and the PPR is finalized considering vendor feedback. PPR also brings about the preliminary project plan, the technical specification, and a new terminology of user requirement specification has been introduced. Implementation roadmap, which is a phase-wise development plan with timelines, a specific timeline and phase-wise as to how you will develop the complete system. Clear responsibility of each stakeholder is laid out in the PPR at each stage, because the stakeholders at each stage may be different. Overall cost and breakdown is laid out. And now we come to the expression of interest and the RFI. There is a provision for consultancy if required when you formulate the PPR as well as the GSQR. Now, when system products are involved, in that case, it is the RFI, request for information, that is issued. It basically ascertains the available technological choices, project approach, vendor base, capabilities. Also ascertains the financial capacity, the technical expertise, and past experience in similar projects of the vendors concerned. Now, when there are ICT products, ICT is more complex in software as we looked at it. In that case, a document of expression of interest, which is far larger and more elaborate as compared to the RFI, is issued out. Now, consultancy is required for any complex and turnkey system and ICT projects. Wherever the complication is there, you require it. Where in-house expertise for conceiving the project, its implementation, and methodology for development is not adequate in-house. Consultancy is allowed and external experts are allowed, which may be institution, consultancy firms, academia, for the exploration of possible solutions, optimal software design, system architecture, system appropriate technology, and more importantly, for converting the functional requirements to technical specification, oblique the user requirement specification, oblique the GSQR as applicable, and thereafter preparing the PPR, the preliminary project report. Now, all these consultants are paid out of the revenue budget. In the flow chart, the next question is it a turnkey project? If it is a turnkey project, then the next thing is requirement of consultants. If there is a requirement of consultant, the provisions we looked at, you have to go to the apex body, that the Defense Acquisition Council, and seek their approval for the purpose of consultants. In case it is approved, the contract is worked out for the consultants by the service headquarters concerned, and in conjunction with them, the formulation of the detailed project report, the DPR, takes place. In case there is no requirement of consultant, you can do the formulation of the detailed project reports in-house. In case it is not a turnkey project, then the SHQ can go straight to the statement of case and getting the AoN from the approving authority directly without going through the complete process of consultants and the detailed project report. Now, what is a turnkey project? Wherever the project is complex and a system project which involves the supply of hardware, creation of infrastructure and network, installation and commissioning involving ICT system developers and system integrators, is a complex project. Therefore, it would be termed as a turnkey project, and appropriate action towards the loop of the decision would be taken. The detailed project report, it's further to the to the preliminary project report, and it brings out the scope of the deliverables, division of responsibility between all stakeholders, approximate overall cost, and estimate for each package in the complete cycle. The consultants for the DPR is paid out of the capital budget. The earlier consultancy in the preliminary project report was after the revenue budget. However, in this case, it is paid out of the capital budget, and as I said, it is approved by the Defense Acquisition Council. The shortlisting of the suitable vendor, certain criteria have to be satisfied. The quality certification, if linked to the scope of work, is required. For information security and large value software intensive project, it is the CMM I5. Compliance has to be there with international standards, and the evaluation assurance level for common criteria security evaluation may be defined from EAL 1 to 5 for the information communication technology projects. Now, whether it was a turnkey project or not, if it was, a detailed project report would facilitate the preparation of a statement of case for taking the acceptance of necessity. In case it was not a turnkey project, then the statement of case for taking the acceptance of necessity is formulated right from the preliminary project report itself. Now, in addition to the statement of case aspects and the procedure for taking the acceptance of necessity from the approving authority that we saw in the preceding procedures, in ICT communication systems, a few extras are there. Outline program in consonance to user specific requirement is there to demonstrate the minimum viable product oblique the minimum viable capability release, and this is required to be done in 12 to 18 months. Also, the software has to be supported through the life cycle, and this aspect as to how it will be done is included in the acceptance of necessity statement of case. What are the test and evaluation requirements that are clearly laid out, and the plans to utilize the existing hardware and networks and infrastructure when the systems would be integrated into the existing outlay. Also, what additional creation of facilities would be required. What are the modern technologies that are going to be used to achieve automated testing oblique the integration of the system that is being developed? The security and the authorization process become extremely important. It should be a modular architecture, and the architecture for this will be explained. The intellectual property is a major aspect, especially in IT software. And that strategy has to be outlined in the statement of case for the AoN. What is the automated testing procedures that will be adopted and the acceptance trial procedures that will be adopted. Also, in case for the post AoN activities thereafter consultants are required, specific sanction has to be included in the statement of case. It's been a pleasure being with you in this session. In the next session, we will look at the balance of the flow chart of the process up to the contract negotiating committee. Till then, thank you very much for a good listening.